Hello and welcome to Film Companion South. In this episode, we're going to be talking about Don Palathara's Santhoshathinte Onnam Rahasyam, which has now come to knee stream. The film stars Rima Kallingal and Jiten Puthanjeri. Now, when we speak about a filmmaker as distinctive as Don Palathara, every new film becomes part of a continuum, even if it has no exact relation to the films he's made earlier. And which were the films that he made earlier? They are Shavam, with a 1956 Central Travel Corps. They are all experimental films, they are all non-narrative films. They resist conventional plot and character development, and they all have a camera that is kind of locked onto events that happen either near or afar. There is not much of movement of the camera at all. Now, Santhoshathinte Onnam Rahasyam is a little more mainstream for this filmmaker. It actually has a semblance of a plot. It is about a woman who thinks she may be pregnant. She's very stressed and her boyfriend, her live-in boyfriend, is driving her to the hospital. Rima Kallingal is the woman, her name is Maria. Jiten Puthanjeri is the guy, his name is Jiten, and we follow their journey as they sit inside the car in one long uninterrupted take. So yes, the camera moves this time, but in a way it is still stationary because it is mounted on the car, and it's moving only because the car is moving, not because the camera itself is moving. In other words, even though this is more mainstream, even though this has more plot, the aesthetic is still as rigorous as those in Don Palathara's earlier films, those non-narrative experimental films. Now, there is a lot of talk in this film. We always know what these two characters are thinking and feeling, but the car is this wonderful metaphor for what the situation is, because psychologically and physically they're both trapped. And this claustrophobia caused by being inside the car is a wonderful, wonderful way to depict the situations they are in. And we are trapped right in with them because we are watching the movie, and we get this slightly embarrassed feeling of hitching a ride with two people who are arguing amongst themselves about their private life, about his lack of hygiene or her lack of civic sense, and we are sitting in the back being really, really embarrassed, going, oh my god, when is this ride going to end? Not in the sense of when is this movie going to end, but like, we might feel we want to get off somewhere so that they can, do their arguing or whatever, and then we can just stay back and just watch it from the freedom of our movie seats. Even the color shades are an extension of Don Palathara's earlier films. This one's in color, this film is in color, but everything is green. The man's shirt, the woman's top, there's a water bottle in the car that's green. So in a way, we're almost seeing a monochromatic palette that's an extension of the black and white palette that we saw in something like With. As for Don Palathara's recurring Christian imagery, we only have to look at the heroine character's name, which is the most maternal of Christian names, Maria. But she does not want this child, and she's also not especially feeling very Christian-like towards her partner, whom she calls Jitin now. She used to call him Jitu earlier. In happier times, that is before this baby pregnancy happened, she encouraged him to follow his passion. He's a small-time actor, he's a struggling actor, but now that she realizes that there may be a big situation in hand, she's not sure that his passion, his small-time passion, can feed a third mouth in the household. At least from the outside, Maria is deliberately confrontational. Maybe she is that way because there is a lot of nervous energy inside her and she needs to let it all out. So she can't allow herself to become as practical and as cool as Jitin, who says things like, well, we learned how to deal with the pandemic, we'll learn how to deal with this pregnancy too. Or maybe Maria is just scared that her body will have to put up with a lot more during this pregnancy if it happens than his, because she's the woman bearing the child. And maybe she's also afraid, some part of her is also afraid that what if he leaves me and goes away? But what if the relationship ends? The dialogues have been written by the actors themselves, and they don't sound like dialogue at all. They sound like life. Everything in this film is about a relationship, whether it's a phone call that Jitin gets, it's about a friend's relationship issues, or whether it's even the script that he's reading when Maria steps out for a second, it's a script about relationships. Now, Don Palathara has a lot of fun in this movie. He pokes fun at the woke Malayali male. For instance, Jitin has asked Maria to cut off ties with all her male friends. The director pokes fun at himself as well. Maria is a journalist, she's a film journalist, and when she calls him, that is the director, over the phone, it's Don himself playing that role. He asks, why are my films labeled slow and experimental when you guys go gaga over the films of people like Bergman and Tarkovsky? The bit where he explains why he's a feminist is priceless. I mean, That's the one moment where Maria and Jitin are actually united because they cannot believe they're hearing the things that come out of this director's mouth. And then they begin to bicker again. The one big difference between Santhoshathinte Onnam Rahasyam and Don Palathara's earlier work is that this time he's got two very good performers to rely on. Both Rima Kallingal and Jitin Putancheri are very, very good, and they really juice up the scenarios that Don Palathara dreams of. Rather, the scenarios that Don Palathara kind of lets them invent as they go along. It's going to be really, really interesting to see where this filmmaker goes next. That's the end of this review. If you like this video, do subscribe to Film Companion South, and see you soon at the movies.